Take another photograph and document a life that's right. And ways consist of simple things, the days of black and white. And faces from a humble past.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back yet again to Talkin Guff podcast with me, your host, Ruben Django Pouch. Wagwan. We have a guest today, Mr. Stephen Smith, and I'll introduce him properly now in a minute, but I just, the next episode of this podcast is the 50th episode, and that means as well, we've been doing it for 2 years, so effectively on average we put out an episode I say we, it's just me at this stage and for the last long while, but I'm putting out an episode like every 2 weeks, which I can live with that. That's an alright level of productivity for me. And I suppose actually last night I was having a bit of a wobble because the last podcast that I did, like, we've got a bit of a low subscription rate, I'm not lying to you, but not even everyone who subscribes is even watching the video. So I was having a little bit of a wobble. I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? But then it's good crack, and I get to have good conversations with the likes of this fine young gentleman, Stephen Smith. How's it going?
How you getting on? All good?
Good, yeah. And I suppose, like, I know you from back in the day.
Yeah.
And I met your crew of friends, I
Yeah.
suppose. What age are you
We
now?
were little groupies, like, I'm 30 now, yeah.
30, right?
Oh, 31.
31.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be pushing like 39
Yeah.
this year. And
Yeah.
so, that was, I remember at a party up in...
Yeah, up in Ramwood.
In
Up at Mick Fortune's gap, yeah. You had passed out
I just
fairly
woke up
early on,
there.
yeah.
I can't
I was
even
actually only
remember
reflecting
getting
on this on the way
there.
in the car, yeah. So, you were up in the morning swigging down bottles of Heineken, saying you only get back out of what you put into it, and then just draining about 9 of them, and then got in a good buzz the next day.
I remember having a good crack the next day. Because I just woke up there.
Yeah. What the fuck?
So,
That was the start of it anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that was the start of it, and it was just the session on days.
Yeah, that's it. Like,
Festival buzz days.
Festival buzz, yeah.
And
what did you do with the Cujos and all that shit, yeah.
Good days. Good
days,
crack,
yeah.
But for the... I look back at it now, it was wild times as well.
Madness.
Wild,
yeah.
But I suppose I met you only recently there where I work in Talkin in the Pigeon House, and we were having a chat, and I was saying to you, geez, you're looking big, Steve, you know what I'm saying? And you were like, yeah. And
Juice.
I made a passing comment, I think, and you were like, well, look, Ruben, and we had an interesting little, even though it was very brief, we touched on a few things. I was like, and it was sort of coming into, we were having that conversation in and around the time where steroid or performance enhancing drugs was sort of more in our peripheries or our zeitgeist than it had been before. And so we said, look, would you come on and we'd be totally transparent there and have a proper conversation?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how we're here.
Yeah, that is it. That is how we're here.
So I suppose, like, I'm just going straight at, like, what
the fuck do you do?
What do you think?
yeah, what do you think? Yeah, so, like, I suppose a bit of context. Like, I've been interested in kind of like steroids. Like, I'd say since I was a fucking kid. Like, the first time I watched Rocky. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Have an idea, like, these fucking, like, just mad, jacked up, crazy. These mad, jacked up, crazy, characters you see and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? So that persona was something I found interesting, as a child, I suppose, like, and then back in 2021, I would have been doing my research for about 2 years, because I was in the gym and I was doing my bit, training and stuff, and I was kind of just interested to go down a steroid using route, like, to take a fucking, go to the gym, take steroids, get big, see what it's like, fuck it, I was coming on 30 that stage, I was like, may as well try it once, but the more research I did, the more I kind of came across, like, this is kind of, well, I wasn't really aware of the realm of TRT and testosterone replacement therapy and men having low testosterone and how it can affect your mental health and how you feel on a daily basis and all that sort of shit. So I in November 2021 I went and got my bloods tested before I started anything, which is important to do. Like, if you are going to get in the route of seeing where my hormone levels are,
Okay.
And I was slightly lower end of testosterone at the lower range of
Okay,
normal.
right, yeah.
So I did go check it out first.
Yeah,
to see,
okay,
you know what
cool.
I mean? Got the results sent over to a doctor, and in England,
Yeah.
you can do the proper TRT. And he said, look, you're just about teeter-tottering on the range of lower or normal.
Okay, right,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that's where I started, and then I said, fuck it, I'll just kind of do it myself and see how I get on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, cool. And then, because I do have. What is the difference between is TRT a steroid or is it a performance enhancing drug? Is a steroid one type of performance enhancing drugs? Like, I think it's hard.
Yeah,
for
it's good. No, it's a good question
to understand.
Yeah, no, it is.
To decipher between what's what. We just hear steroid.
Yeah,
or, you know what I mean.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So,
yeah. It becomes a taboo issue pretty quickly.
Yeah.
When you mention steroids, so you think like steroids, it's just like crazy fucking shit you put in your body that's completely not. It's a bioidentical hormone.
Bioidentical hormone.
It is literally
Okay.
you are taking testosterone, which you have, it is what you have in your body as a male and female. There's testosterone, estrogen.
Yes.
And so men have a lot, high testosterone and lower estrogen. So when you take steroids, you're just taking testosterone.
Okay, so TRT is a steroid.
Yeah, TRT is a steroid. A steroid is testosterone,
Okay,
or a derivative of testosterone.
Okay, right,
So
okay.
Yeah. So that's what it actually is. And when you take testosterone to
Yes.
replace your natural testosterone, your natural supply turns off.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so that's what I say with TRT. Like, TRT is for life, in a sense.
Yes.
And that's why steroids can be slightly complicated because you're switching off you're messing with your endocrine system, so your hormonal system.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so your pituitary gland.
Yes.
I want to bore you with this shit. Like, your
No, 100%. It's brilliant.
Yeah, so your pituitary gland essentially, because you have so much testosterone exogenously being injected into you, it goes, well, lads, stop.
Turn it off.
Turn it off, lads.
Take a break.
We're sorted.
Yeah, it's like a union.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's the kind of the tricky part where, like, you want to be very monitored and not get your stable, your hormones done before, your full blood panel done before, and
so you can see a transparent picture of where you're starting anyway.
and where you want to come back to.
Okay, and then so because I do have that is somewhere in my questions here, but the idea there, so TRT, like, is that for life? And if you start taking it, like, what are the sort of negative side effects, I suppose, to coming off any type of steroid? And then, because remember, like, even Vitor Belfort, when they got rid of TRT, he came back and he'd lost a lot of muscle mass like, in a really recognisable way.
Yeah.
And, but what then is the, like, negative effects from potentially, I suppose, actually, from taking and coming off any of these supplements or performance enhancing drugs?
Yeah, I think it's to do with why you take it. As to, so say if you're in your 40s, you've had your kids, you're not feeling good, you're tired, you just feel like shit, you're depressed, and you're wondering what the fuck's going on, and by chance you find a good doctor who says, have you got your hormones tested?
Okay, right,
and you go, no, and you check your hormones, you're low for testosterone, and you're in your 40s, and you go on TRT, and you feel great.
Yes.
Because you have testosterone in your system again.
Yeah,
back at it, like, my fucking sex drive is fucking up, you feel like a young man again. It's for life, because you're not going to want to come off.
Yes.
Yeah?
Okay,
and if you did come off, say your testosterone levels at 40 might be 60% of what they were when you were 25.
Yeah.
So it declines, like, so we have a steady decline in testosterone as we get older.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So, like, when you come, if you were to come off after a few years, when you're, say, 45,
yes,
and your natural testosterone levels would kick back into gear.
Okay, yeah, because that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
And so, because you said you want to be looking at a place where you'd come back to, but also you said that when we put like intravenous or whatever it is, when we, what word did you use?
Intramuscular, yeah.
Intramuscular, okay. When you put it into our bodies intramuscularly, that it switches it off. But then as soon as you stop doing that, does your body go, shit, I need to re-engage?
Takes a few months.
Yeah, it takes
a few months, and like in some cases,
and would lads be getting mad depressed and shit,
you feel like
that?
a bag of shit, like.
Okay, right.
Yeah, you'll have no
take
testosterone.
The wind out of you.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, and like you'll lose that. You'll lose a lot of what you've gained. You can lose muscle wise, like aesthetically wise. If you're going for aesthetics, you're going for actual health.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so you'd feel like a bag of shit when you first come off. but it's kind of, I always look at it in those two ways. It's like medical reasons or aesthetic,
like being healthy or being buff.
Yeah, exactly. Like, do you want to be honest? Like, are you chasing the aesthetic dream, wanting to look like a demigod? You know what I mean?
And I suppose that's like, is that what you take it for?
Because
you've always been pretty in good shape, like as long as I've known you.
Yeah, like, all right shape. I think like how you treat your body can be a reflection of your own mental health as well, though. At some stages,
strong body, strong mind.
Yeah, exactly. But also another way, wanting to be aesthetically big and strong and all this stuff can also be a reflection of, like, maybe on the inside you're a bit of a fucking
there's
bitch.
an insecurity
like, you know what I mean?
Well,
So,
I always say that
yeah.
about them MMA lads. It's like, because you know, they always like, yeah, well, I'll kick your head in, or I kicked your head in. It's just like, yeah, but that's only one way in which I measure a man.
Yeah,
do you know
exactly,
what I mean?
100%. Yeah,
and so, like, you know, how can you deal with other situations? And there are other ways that men are tough. There are other ways that men are tough. But so you could, but obviously you don't have, like, I can lift my kettlebell there.
Yeah.
And like I'm not in great shape, but I'm in good shape for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I do a bit of exercise, and like I do feel
good after. Yeah, of course. You're burning cortisol. You're feeling good. Like
and even the next day, like, and even generally speaking, I feel like I'm stronger than I was 4 years ago. Say, and I remember you saying that's why you'd be like. That's another thing you like from it, is that just you feel like fucking rock.
Yeah, you feel on, like, you feel fucking great, like you're going around. Especially if you've been in the gym, you're going around, you're feeling fucking swole, like it's a nice feeling.
Yeah.
Like,
I can understand that.
Yeah, no, it is like you feel good, you feel sharp mentally, you feel your energy is very consistent throughout the day. You sleep really well.
Yeah,
you know, you can eat a bit more because you end up you displace fat easier. When you work out, you know, you get more results.
And is that, like, is it cheating in that respect, or do you still just, like, or are you just working harder?
No, like, you definitely have to work, like you know, if to get, say, a bodybuilder, like, they eat, live and breathe that shit, like, you know what I mean? So they get to be that phenomenal, you know, alien looking like person, like, it's the steroids and all that stuff, but like they are married to that. They are eating, like, you know, waking in the morning, eating their fucking 8 meals a day, so 6 days a week in the gym, fucking, like, it's, you know, it takes an awful lot of work. So steroids do obviously help.
Yes.
And they are, in a sports sense, if you are enhanced. So if you're going against an opponent in MMA, for example, of course it is a definite advantage in cheating. Like,
and funny you mentioned MMA there, because they don't actually test for steroids or whatever in jiu-jitsu. Like your man Gordon Ryan, he's fucking on mad steroids. He's a machine of a lad.
I wish it just let them at it in general. Fuck it, man. Like, the Olympics and all.
Actually just punching the shit out of each other.
Just fucking go for it, man. Like, you know what I mean? Olympics and everything, man. Just fucking let them on. Like, fucking enhanced athletes all over. Like, you see what the human body can get to. But, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to cut in. We do a little section and we just try to throw it in anywhere we can. It's called What Do You Reckon? And it's just like, and I say it regardless of whether or not we have a guest. And so you can answer any of the questions, but also you're not obligated to answer any questions. It's more I just throw out a lot of spurious shit that I thought we'd touch on. So, and we have a little theme tune. And I just sing it and it goes, what do you reckon about these things? What do you reckon about the things we're about to say? What do you reckon about these things? What do you reckon about the things we're about to say?
Nice.
There we go. Did anyone see Mary Lou McDonald? Because they were in the doll and Leo Varadkar was going, well, we need tenants, but we also need landlords. And she just went, Jesus, Mary and Joseph. And I just thought it was really funny. Did anyone see it? Did you see it? No. It was really funny. But on a less funny note, Leo Varadkar has just come out and say that we are in like a deficit of 250,000 homes at the moment. We're in need of 250,000 gaps. And like, what do you reckon about that? And then furthermore to that, what do you reckon about the fact that in 2016 it was identified that we needed 50,000 homes, and Fine Gael said that they would deliver 10,000 homes a year, every year for the next 5 years, and we'd be fucking cushy. And they failed on that every year in the run up to the pandemic, and then the pandemic took over. And so now they're saying that they're going to build 40,000 homes a year to deal with that situation. And even at that, like, how could we even be that many houses in the shits? What do you reckon about that? That's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not going to be a quick fix in our generation. Like, you
No
know what I mean? There's
way.
no way. Like, you
You
know,
can't-
but it's funny. Like you said, I actually. This is like off your question, but like
No,
we
no,
were
go for it.
we were trying to build a house for like 3 years,
Yeah.
close to my family home, 3 kilometers away, and 3 years and fucking €1,000 worth of fees and all the architect shit.
Yeah.
Went to Invergordon County Council, refused it. Went in again, refused it. Went on Board and refused it because they said I wasn't local enough to build a house.
Insane.
And I'm ready to go, like ready
It's
to go.
just
And,
like,
and I was like wanting to start,
there's
wanting to
a
start a family.
housing crisis.
Yeah, like I'm refusing people to build houses. Like, and,
It's
you know,
insane.
and every house that is built is 500, 600,000 euro plus. Like the whole of
I
Greystones.
can't get my head around that. It's just like
Yeah.
how the only building I see going on is like you said, up the back of my son goes to school by the little there in Greystones, and I drive up the back road to Delgany to where I work, and it's just like all these gaps are costing 5, 6, 7, 800 grand. And
Yeah,
all.
it's insane.
This isn't going to do anything for our housing crisis.
No.
You know. But anyway, I had because I was asking in the last episode we did about the immigration situation and more about the rise of this sort of nearly ultra nationalist vibe or that you're getting out of the anti-immigration thing. And obviously there are people with genuine concerns and who feel like certain parts of the situation are kicking the teeth or whatever, but there is definitely an ultra nationalist vibe that I am not into, and I talked about it the whole time in the last podcast. But what I will say is that I did sort of pose the ideas as like, how come when they were having the conversation in Europe about taking immigrants, did the lads not just go, like, did they not know? Surely they knew that because they presided over such a fucking disaster with the housing situation now, we have 12,000 people living in temporary accommodation and on the streets, like in unsuitable situations. They must have known that this situation was going to like ruffle the feathers of a lot of people in the country. And like I said, and I explained it in the last one, but the point I'm trying to make is maybe they know that and they're just like, well, just do it, because then everyone's too busy squabbling over like unvetted male migrants, whatever the fuck that means, and they won't they won't even talk about the fact that we're 250,000 houses away from getting clear of this situation, and sort of like divided we definitely will fall. And it's a very strange.
But it's fucked up to think that, like, even the fact that you would think that, you know, our
government would do that,
or even have the thought process to do that. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
But I can't really get.
I would think they're just trying to keep Europe happy at the expense of our own country, so they know they're in bed with them, so they have to do things.
There's definitely,
like, you know, so that's like they're bringing these in to kind of go, yes, we'll do it, and
whatever
then
it takes.
exactly.
So do you think then the conversation? Because I said that, and like I was talking about this guy that I know before, who was living in like a room with his wife and 3 kids. And he was like, these fucking refugees are coming over. And I was like, well, look, bro, like at the core of and this guy's like dragged up and he's a good skin, he's working his bollocks off. And I said, at the core of what you're saying, I understand you're right, but these people are just people coming from a situation worse than they're just like, yeah, come on, it's no problem. So like they're pawns like you and me and all of us in like a European political game.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a strange one. I just wonder then, that's what I was asking last time. Do you think that conversation, they never went, well, we're sort of in the shits. What are we gonna do? You know
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't take immigrants. I'm just saying, how do you balance that with people who are going, here, I'm living in a fucking terrace house, or a room in a terrace house here with my whole family. You can't just go, no, shut the fuck up to those people either.
No, we can't. But I also the way they allow building happen in the country, I suppose, like, you know, the way things can be built for pure insane housing prices, as opposed to focusing on things being built quickly, cheaply, mass.
And they don't build. What I don't understand is they don't build any gaps. They don't contract any houses. And I'm gonna say, we'll just slip it in here now because it's exactly. There's a homeowner. I just seen a thing there. The homeowner with 11 grand left on his mortgage, who's still paying a payment, hit with a repossession order. And I didn't realize this now, but over 50%, something like 54% of all the mortgages in this country are now owned by, like, not the banks, by investment firms.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And we dealt with however many years of austerity to bail out the banks just for them to sell off our debt, our mortgages. Like, they don't even own that shit anymore. And that's on top of 56% of all the rental properties in this country are owned by 3 sort of institutional landlord multinational company like investment firm.
Fucking mother, Jesus. Yeah, well, even the interest rates on mortgages alone, to be honest with you, like, we went to try to get a house down in Gorey, and it was 330 for the house, 360 for the house or something like that, and we were borrowing 330, I think it was, or 320, and over 35 years we were paying back €288,000 in interest.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, like, because I wouldn't have a clue about that, because I've just resigned myself to never having almost never getting a mortgage. I'm thinking the only way I'm going to own a house is if I win the lotto.
No, like, it's one of these things you say to an old generation, well, it has to be done. Do you know what I mean? Like, houses were built and you buy a house back, 20, 25 years ago even, like, you could, I think my parents bought a little bit, I managed to get land for 20 grand, built a house for 50 grand or something.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Defo. 20 years ago, 100%.
Yeah, like, so it's
100%.
Like, so you kind of have, if you can buy a house and be locked into it for a 35-year mortgage, pay back insane interest for a house you don't even really like.
What is that, like 80% interest?
Well, it works out, I have it actually in writing here, I can show it to you. It's a 2% of the full loan amount value per year, which actually kind of turns into that in time.
Oh my God.
It's insane.
It's criminal. And like I just said, like, we fucking sorted them cunts out. And back in 2008, anyway, Jesus, it would make your blood boil. But hopefully they'll be on the way out now soon enough, and I'm gonna talk about that in another episode maybe. But there is actually a guy. Look, and I don't mean to be whatever contentious, but TD Paul Murphy. He's People Before Profit TD, and he's had a kid, and he was like, I don't want to limit our baby by saying you're a boy or a girl. Let them decide. And look, I'm not going to get into a whole gender thing, but just looking at that, he's like, well, that's totally ludicrous. There's loads of shit, really important shit, that I'm not going to let my kid decide.
Yeah.
Like, and I think actually it's irresponsible maybe to put that sort of weight on a little child and all, you know what I mean? I don't know, maybe I'm being totally transphobic, but I was just like, and the article itself is fascinating piece of sort of ultra wokeness to read, but he's not going to, the child is not gender neutral. They're just going to let the child decide, and if you identify it as a boy, and it is a boy, and it's called Juniper because that's it's a gender neutral name apparently.
Yeah.
Dad. Keep it together here. But I'm like, because I am going to talk about.
No,
this
I think kids are sacred. So kids need to be allowed to think whatever they want to think and not be guided down any notion they come up with. So if a kid comes up with a notion to do anything, to want to be an asparagus, you're not going to dress that kid like an asparagus and call it that, identify as that, and go for an asparagus plasty. Like, you know what I mean?
No,
ridiculous.
100%.
Like, you know, it's like, kids have notions, kids have dreams, kids have thoughts. You know,
and they don't have the requisite like faculties to be making those sort of decisions for themselves
or understand what it means.
Exactly,
the implications.
that's more
like,
what
you know
it
what I mean.
is,
The conceptual part of it, like, they don't understand what it is that they're toying with or they are talking about. Especially when we're going back to our first topic conversation with TRT, like that transfers over to what they do to kids who want to. So, say young girls who want to turn in,
increase their testosterone, become transition.
Yeah, sorry, losing that word there. Like, if that happens prepubescent, like, you know, if that's something they're doing in the States, you know, a prepubescent girl can fucking, what's the word I was missing?
Transition.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and take medication to
facilitate that. Like, those changes that happen are irreversible.
Yeah, fucking, like, it's mental.
Yeah, it's irreversible. It's also something that when you become older and you have a better conceptualization of the world, you can't go back on.
Experience, wisdom, etc.
Exactly, like, yeah. So
like, even when I think of when I was 18, I was a fucking primate. I didn't have a clue about the world. I was living on a different planet, totally. And I think about that all the time. It's just like, because I would think about my thought processes back then in situations that I'm in now that would be I've been in before, and it's like, how could you have thought? Like, what were you fucking world thinking? Were you on, man? Yeah. I'm more just like stupid, immature, and irresponsible shit that I'd be doing and all. But you just be like, what the fuck were you thinking?
Yeah, but I think for your own kid now, like, I imagine acceptance is probably something that you would want to instill into them, like, you know, of their what their insecurities or anything that's going on, to be able to accept that that's you. It's okay, buddy. You know,
I tell my
on.
son every day nearly going to school, just be yourself.
But,
you don't have to be anything for anyone but you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm mad into that shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I think that's the only way to actually find happiness, is to be comfortable within yourself. Regardless of what anyone else says, and it's hard because you have to be an outlier. It's hard for a kid, should I say, because you have to be an outlier in a way and go, oh, well, I'm going to be true to myself. It's hard to be true to yourself when you're a little kid and there's peer pressure and all that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think being true to yourself, like, you know, anatomically, like, you know, that you have to kind of sit them down and say, look, you know, if they say they want to be, I might be going way off track here.
No, go for it.
If they want to be, they say they want to be a girl and they're a boy, say, well, look, like, you know, you are anatomically a boy.
Yes.
You're going to have to accept you have a penis.
Yeah.
You know, and then we can move through this as you get older and talk about it. And we can cross that bridge when you become when you understand what the implications are, what you're looking for. But right now you're a child, so let's go back to being a child.
Exactly. And like, I mean, anyone who wouldn't look at it or deal with it in that way is whatever. They're just not on the same wavelength as me, shall I say.
Yeah.
But
you're gonna be shut down now after this shit.
No, we've done it before. Like, what's up? We're not. Look, anyone can identify as anything they want, and I will. You want to be referred to as he, she, whatever. I don't mind that, but it's just like when you start wanting me to like move outside the realms of biology. I'm like, no, sorry, I'm not really down with that.
That's what I mean, especially when you're involved in kids.
Yeah, exactly. But because it's gonna get us. I'll just say one. What do you reckon about this? There was the lifting of, or they're potentially going to lift the eviction ban, which is probably bad news for people in already shitty situations. So what do you reckon about that? And also, what do you reckon about the fact that it coincides with Leo becoming registered as a landlord for the first time, I believe, although I think he has been renting a property for some time, or he's definitely owned 2 properties for a while, and it's a very mad looking little microcosm, isn't it? Because on one, within the same week, they're going, we're going to lift this eviction ban, and people are going, well, that's a really shitty thing for tenants and a really good thing for landlords, and he's a landlord, and surely just straight away that's a conflict of interest. And it's right there. So he's like Nancy Pelosi on an Irish scale.
Yeah, well, suiting himself, I suppose, then, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's just like, come on, mate. Look at what's going on here and how tone deaf that is. You know what I mean? In given the current situation. Anyway, has anyone seen, and what do they reckon about the Matt Taibbi situation, the Twitter files? We're gonna do a whole episode on this podcast because it throws into disrepute things we were told about Biden, things we were told about Trump, things we were told about COVID, things we were told about censorship, things we were told about certain medical professionals and all that shit. And it's mad interesting. Have you been watching any of that stuff?
No.
So Matt Taibbi, who's a pretty celebrated journalist and actually lost his faith in the mainstream media and had been doing a lot of Substack stuff, was given files, emails, etc. to him. He was given them by Elon Musk, and they were relating to Twitter and how the FBI colluded with Twitter to have certain accounts fucked with, basically, because they didn't like what they were saying about Biden, because they didn't like what they were saying about COVID. And it's mad now looking back at COVID, and surely soon I'm going to have to do a whole episode of this, because I was like on a mad one thinking... And or just quickly, anyone who disreputed any of the narrative with regards to COVID that was sort of mandated down by the government, they were considered a crackpot and a tinfoil hat wearing lunatic, and medical professionals were censored on social media and stuff like this and called right wing and stuff like that. And it turns out that loads of the shit they were talking about was like 100% true, and and a lot of the stuff that was mandated for turned out not to be really effective. And it's a crazy situation, and then it's just like, oh well, and that's a crazy thing. I'll have to talk about it again. But something that another part of it that comes out of this Twitter files thing is just like, I think I'm almost like becoming a Trump supporter, and I know that's a terrible thing to say. And a lad had a go at me one time because he said this is a pro-Trump channel, and I was like, well, it wasn't. But Jesus, I'm on the verge, and we'll touch on it again, of becoming pro-Trump. What do you reckon? Check out his last few speeches.
Yeah,
he's fucking.
He's nuts, but this comes into like a group identity thing, like, you know what I mean. So like people act in groups and cognitive bias and searching for your answer.
Give me a bit more of this.
Sorry, cognitive bias, you know, and
yeah.
group identity. So when you're like, you have two opposing groups to say, like, you know, we have the pro-vax, not pro, you know, anti-vax, whatever. Like, know, like each group will only search for their right answer.
Yeah, kind of like confirmation bias.
Confirmation, yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. So like, you know, me personally, for all the shit going on, I like to observe it, but I don't like to align fully with either side on it. Like, I know it sounds like a fencing move.
That's exactly where I'm at.
Yeah, it's like
that's how I explain my stance previous. Yeah. I suppose I'm not pro-Trump, but I'm not, like, if I was living in America, I'm pretty sure I'd be on the verge of going to myself, I'm voting for Trump.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm sure there's a fucking lot of them out there doing it.
Fucking right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, and you talk about this confirmation bias thing. How, in fact, that can bite you in the ass is what we've seen from the Democrats over the last few years. Like, they played identity politics and decided to latch on to the ultra-left sort of woke agenda, and it's backfired on them in a big way, because they're not that. They're actually...
When an ultra-woke left agenda goes too hard, it becomes so extreme, it becomes exactly what it's trying to fight against.
And the way they do it, the way in which they execute it, I've said, we had a whole episode about, like, that's the way the left are going on is like totally right wing, and even like the freedom convoy then were called right wing, and like what I looked at as people being liberals were now being called right wing, and what people were saying was leftist was like, no, you can't, you have to fuck about it. And it's like, wow, hold on a minute.
Yeah, but see, it goes full circle on the extremities.
You know what I
mean? Like, so when it goes so extreme to left, it actually turns nearly into like an extreme, like, right wing ideology.
Totally.
So that's like how it nearly works once it gets to an extreme level.
Yeah, well, it's fundamentalism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, look, that's the end of the section of what do you reckon. So, what do you reckon about these things? What do you reckon about the things we're about to say? Okay. So we'll just a few more. I want to touch on a couple of other bits with you, if that's
100%. Yeah.
So we already said. So you touched on it, and I just wanted to just say more about it, because I did see a thing, like a few things recently that was saying in the 50s or whatever, men had way more testosterone than we do on average today. Is that a fact, do you think?
Well, if you think about the lifestyle and what they were doing, there's probably a lot more physical activity. They probably got their sleep at night, weren't sitting up, you know, looking at phones all the way, having through the night and shit, and eating shit, you know, taking all the drugs, fucking other drugs and shit we take these days, and all these other elements to life that we have now. We're quite stagnated as well in most of our work environments. So, you know, I can imagine that they might have.
Because we definitely, I think, do we see? I mean, it's probably hard to quantify how depressed lads were in the 50s or 60s, but I think we can quantify suicide.
I'm delighted you said that. Yeah, it's like men plus 50s is an insane suicide rate. Like insane. Like, you know, I actually read a few testimonies online for men who did go on TRT in their 50s. You know, they tried everything to try and fix their depression. You know, they had, you know, they're not antidepressants. They changed their lifestyle and but just nothing was really working for them. You know, and it eventually went to TRT and found they were low in testosterone. And it changes their lives.
And do you think, is there, like, say for instance, like, is there other ways to increase your testosterone?
Yeah, like, probably, like, there's all these other things now. You have, like, fucking testosterone and some fucking mad roots and shit. You can take all these natural boosters, but, like,
does being physical, does that increase your testosterone?
Your testosterone is peaked in the morning when you wake up.
Okay,
so
right,
testosterone
that's why you wake up with a big horn.
Yeah, there you go. so depending on how you sleep and how you've rested and what you've eaten and how stressed you are during the day, what your physical activity was, will all have factors on how much testosterone you produce.
Okay.
But, like, from what I've read now, don't like.
Cool. Look, we're only waxing
exactly.
Here,
like, I'm not fucking no expert in this. Like,
but
from like a 10 to 15% increase, you could get from natural testosterone boosters, looking after yourself really well. And going on, like, I want to increase my testosterone naturally. So, like, not majorly. Like, if you have low testosterone, not majorly.
So if you're in deficit of anything above 20%,
like, so the range is between 300 nanograms per deciliter to 1,000 nanograms per deciliter.
Okay,
so that's like your range.
Okay,
actually
right,
being,
yeah,
so.
I'm gonna get my testosterone.
Yeah, no, it's
'Cause
worth
I
doing,
tell you,
man. It's worth
I
doing.
feel sort of manly.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
know I'm saying
You're probably 100%. You're probably
and
fine.
I'm just like,
Yeah,
I feel
that's
actually
it.
in the prime, because the thing about
You
it is,
should.
like,
You should. You're a young man.
39 or
Yeah.
38.
Yeah, no
fucking
better.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
And also, like, because actually, I probably actually haven't ever been stronger in my life, because when I was younger, I was just like overweight, and even at that, I didn't do much physical shit. Like,
Probably
I know,
sessioning loads as well.
yeah, sessioning loads. I
That'll
know
take the
within
fucking life out of you.
myself that I am stronger now than I've ever been, and cognitively, like, I've never
Yeah.
been more tuned in that respect. And
Yeah.
so I know that will then, probably by the time I get into my 50s, will start to diminish again. But right now, I'm feeling like fucking.
Well, that's no, like 100. Like if you're,
Chuckling
you're
it
feeling,
down.
if you're, yeah, maybe you're feeling good. You're feeling good. Like it's
Yeah.
you know, the like as I was kind of touching on.
And I think exercise is a huge part of that.
Massive, like yeah. So I did a psychotherapy, the first 2 years of psychotherapy degree, and I didn't actually go into the third year.
Okay, yeah.
Because you started to see clients in third year, and I was not ready for that shit.
Okay, yeah.
But
yeah.
we had a lecturer, like he basically he goes into big corporations and companies and teaches all the C-suite level employees in there
Okay, yeah.
how to take control of the nervous system and not get stressed.
The
and
what? Sorry, say
they're-
that again.
they're-
The
they're-
C-suite, did you
yeah,
say?
C-suite, like sorry, CEOs, your
Okay, right, yeah.
chief marketing officers, you know,
Okay,
anyone
yeah,
that
CFO, CEOs,
yeah, exactly,
all
like,
these
yeah,
guys.
yeah, exactly. I teach them how to deal with stress and
Okay, yeah.
and he has his own practice where he would see clients for his psychotherapy practice. He would not see anybody unless they were exercising. He refused to see people. He'd say they come into him and they'd have all these depressed and this and that and the other, and he'd say, "Are you exercising regularly?" And then they'd say no, and he'd say, "Exercise regularly
And come back
and
to
come
me.
back to me."
Look, I wish I knew it.
Not in
when
like
I
not
was
in a
younger.
very rough way, but like you know what I mean. He would set
Yeah.
them up and get them a
Of
trainer or
course,
whatever. You know what I mean?
not
But like
just fuck off and
it
kill
burns
yourself,
cortisol.
mate.
Like cortisol is your stress hormone. So
Okay,
that is
yeah,
your stress
yeah.
hormone. So when you exercise, you burn cortisol. So when you burn cortisol, you feel happier. You get dopamine release, and you like it changes the chemistry in your brain.
It's definitely, there's something, and I only realised, because I was going through a rough time in my life probably about 6 years ago, really hard time, and I was walking just to get out of the gaff, and I would go walking for hours, and I was roll a few little doobies and bring them with me, and
Yeah.
I'd be walking and I mean crunching pavement all over Bray, mad walks in the middle of the night and all. But and sometimes two, going walk one of them, like 2 of them walks a day, and I actually lost loads of weight, and I put a bit back on now. And but the point I'm trying to make, I suppose, is that like I do the kettlebell thing now, and I still go for big enough walks, and no matter what, I never regret it.
No, never.
Never.
It's hard to do.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
100%.
But
It's
I
hard
never
to do.
regret it.
No,
and
never,
I was
ever,
never
ever,
one
yeah.
of them lads.
Never, yeah.
Lads be like, "You need to be going out." Oh, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah.
But I have to say, it's just there's nothing better really. That's the reality of it. Exercise.
It's kind of like it's the first point to be able to have a bit of control over your mental health.
Yeah,
Like it really is. Like you know what I mean? Like
yeah, because there's a meditative vibe to it as well.
Yeah,
And
100%,
it's deep
repetition.
breathing
Yeah,
exercise,
big time.
essentially, because
yeah. That's
so,
it.
look, anyway.
Yeah.
Another thing I was gonna ask you was, are we meant to be fucking big beastly dudes? Like, are you meant to be that big?
Oh, no. If you're like 250, 300 pound bodybuilder, you're overweight.
Yeah.
Like whether it's fat or muscle.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
severely unhealthy.
And it
Like
must
again,
be
extremities.
pressure on the
Yeah,
organs
pressure.
and stuff
Yeah,
that.
like by bodybuilders and stuff. I'll talk about like what they would take. Like they take growth hormone. They be on like 4 or 5 different types of testosterone. So you have like your 19 NORs, your DHT derivatives, your testosterone derivatives. There are different types of derivatives of testosterone. They can have different effects, like thickening of blood and your swollen prostates, your fuck up with your cholesterol. They damage your liver, kidneys. Like so, when you're pushing, like when you abuse anything, it abuse you back. Like so like being a big jacked out weirdo, you're gonna be probably unhealthy. Like,
and also the physical pressure that they're putting on their actual body. Like your man Ronnie Coleman's back's fucked, his legs.
He kind of did it in a strength. He did bodybuilding in a powerlifting manner, which is the wrong thing to do. So he broke himself.
Right. Okay.
By just going so heavy.
The guy who like used to only train like once a week, and I was only seeing it on this thing.
Oh, yeah, I saw.
Something
I don't
Simpson
know
or
the name,
something like
yeah,
that. I must try and find out.
yeah. Well, like
But-
bodybuilders will do volume, so they'll kind of keep it between a certain rep range, do a mind muscle connection, do things slower, and it's not as injury prone or break yourself.
Okay, yeah.
It's more the health implications of the how much you have to eat.
Okay.
What the things you're putting into your body.
Right,
like,
yeah, because
you know,
even all them calories must fuck
man.
up their liver and their
I'm
kidneys.
sure, surely, just
yeah.
processing that amount of food that they eat to be able to that they keep the weight that they need to keep, because your body's always trying to fight back to homeostasis. So like when you go past your genetic limit for what your body is comfortable having on
Yeah.
it's trying to get rid of it.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
like so if you go like say like
burn it even faster.
well it's uncomfortable, like, you know what I mean. So
yeah,
like
yeah,
especially
yeah.
muscle, because muscle's easy. Muscle's easier for the body to turn back than fat is easy to get rid of. It'll store fat, but muscle is easy to be to go back.
Okay, right,
yeah.
Okay, interesting. And then here, so I suppose, like, who's on the juice?
Goes on the juice, fucking loads. Like, man, I like a lot. Okay, we'll go over the fitness influencers. Like any fitness influencer,
Yeah.
you see it, you go, man, they are fucking ripped. Like
They're on the
juicing,
juice.
Like, yeah, there's like this,
V-Shred.
Like, so there's this, yeah. Well, like there's like Mike Thornton. What's his fucking name?
I
Mike
don't-
Mike Thurston, Mike O'Hearn. There's loads of them. Like Liver King. You heard of
Liver King, yeah,
Liver
of
King,
course.
Like, yeah, of course, he's absolutely.
And
sauced
is
out
your
with tits.
man more plates, more dates? He's on the juice.
Oh,
is
he was for years. He openly talks about it. He's on TRT.
Yeah.
He's on TRT.
Okay,
now, so
yeah.
like, more plates, more dates. Vigorous Steve. There's a few other good guys that are like very informed, and they
okay.
actually give good knowledge around it all, and like tell people the right way of doing things and not the right way of doing things. Like they don't in any way encourage like this kind of like jacked up bro fucking shit. Like and just
okay,
doing
yeah.
things haphazardly or stupidly. Like
Yes.
you know they're quite.
Oh, because
analytical
can
and
I
heavy
ask you
about it.
then, just quick, is it all legal?
So like in if you got a TRT route, yeah.
Okay.
But if you're doing it, it'd be black market stuff that you would have to get in here, like
But outside of TRT,
outside of TRT, yeah.
everything
yeah,
has to be
yeah,
black market
yeah,
stuff. Okay,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
And then what sort of? Because I've only sort of come to the realization of what you've said is like that. Anyone who's fucking like totally jacked, or not anyone, but a lot of these lads are on the fucking,
Yeah,
like movie stars and all. Like Mark Wahlberg, he's on the juice. Surely.
No, actually, funny enough, he's a questionable one. No, I don't think he was.
Right,
Yeah, because
okay.
I think Mark Wahlberg is one who's actually worked fucking really hard.
His whole life.
Yeah, no, he's.
But like,
he's
there's a film called
Thor.
Thor.
What's the man's name? Chris
Chris
Hemsworth.
Hemsworth.
Juice out his tits. Yeah.
And like Ryan Reynolds now.
See, it's film stars is difficult because they can do such good camera angle tricks.
Okay, right.
You know, so like, you can make.
What
yourself
about
look pretty
Chris
big.
Pratt? Like he was sort of a fat dude, and then he's just like
Potentially,
who knows?
you know.
But
yeah,
I remember seeing Mark Wahlberg in a movie called Four Brothers, I think,
Yeah.
and he looks.
Yeah.
I'll look back
I'll look back at that. 'Cause
He's
what was the one he played a bodybuilder in?
beef? No pain, no gain.
Yeah, like in that, I know he wasn't.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay, check
I know
out
he
Four
wasn't, but
Brothers.
yeah.
His arms
Yeah,
are like.
Yeah.
Okay, and then because obviously, what is the thing like then? So with Conor McGregor, is that just like, oh, it's grand, he's on the juice to get better?
See, the question there is he on growth hormone?
Okay,
Right, so growth hormone is.
because he obviously put on a shit ton of muscle.
Yeah, like I don't want to speak bad about Conor McGregor now, right? Like,
No, well, I have been on this podcast. And made him on, he's like, don't do that.
yeah. But yeah, like there's definitely things you can take.
And I'm not trying to actually.
No.
If now that I say about, I'm not talking negatively. I'm just interested because
they're-
from a person like me, it's just like
from an anecdotal
it's just like-
anecdotal sense,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
there's
yeah.
things you can take to help you fix bones, like growth hormone.
Okay.
You know, testosterone will definitely alter the way your face looks, your jaw get a bit thicker.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
his jaw looks a bit thicker.
Things will change when
Yeah.
you take like performance enhancing drugs. So even my facial structure slightly changed. Like you know.
Okay,
what I mean?
right, yeah.
like,
Because
like,
Dana White, like
Yeah.
he looks like it and talks like a totally different dude to when he was younger.
yeah. Well, no, Dana White's 100% beyond TRT. Like
No, he is. But I
yeah.
think he's openly on TRT.
Yeah, but I'm just
like him and Rogan.
100%. Why shouldn't he be?
Yeah,
you know what I
do
mean?
whatever the fuck you
that's
want,
the thing.
man.
Well, that's it. Well, it's like HRT for women has always been around.
Yeah,
You know,
I was
and I know
saying
they go
that
through
earlier.
menopause, like,
yeah,
like
when
it's
they
more
go through the
intensive.
menopause,
Yeah,
they have to
yeah.
get HRT.
HRT. So like men's HRT now in America anyway, like will be growth hormone, testosterone. Maybe it's a one to have a kid. They might take HCG and HMG, which like mimic your luteinizing and follicle stimulating hormones to produce sperm. Like
Right, okay.
Just if all men want to have kids,
Yeah, yeah,
they can give them these things. But
Say that again.
yeah, so
if you can't have kids,
if your count's low,
Yeah.
like you can take HCG and HMG.
Okay, right,
They mimic luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, which a pituitary gland tells you to produce in your balls to produce intratesticular testosterone in a small amount and to help your semen production boost up. So yeah, so like that's where men who are on TRT say are in their 40s who end up meeting another.
A young lady,
like
I need to hang on to this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I need to do whatever it takes.
She wants a baby. But so that's HRT is a full spectrum of your hormone panel, whereas testosterone replacement therapy is kind of like looking at testosterone and you have to keep estrogen in check, because when you take testosterone, your estrogen levels can spike and stuff. So lads, so you hear about lads growing tits and getting fucking shit like that. That comes from
and they say like because they were talking about it at Adesanya before, like when lads stop cycling, that they get those little sort of
bitch tits, tangy and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. Like, and you can get like gynecomastia, which is like get hard lumps under your nipples. And stuff.
Right.
And that comes from not managing the estrogen correctly. So lads who go into these things without having done the research, without knowing what they're doing, testing. I test my bloods every 8 to 12 weeks when I'm like at the moment I'm on like literally just about TRT for the last few months, because I'm just getting myself flushed out. But like, so what I would have done is it's a blasting cruise. So you do a big blast for about 12, 16 weeks. Then you come down to a cruise, then you go up to a blast, down to a cruise. So that's
right. That's a cycle.
That's a blasting cruise way of doing it.
Okay.
Otherwise, you do a 12 to 20 week cycle. Come off, let your body come back on, which can be rough. Then recalibrate for a while, then go back on, and then come off. Whereas what I was doing was like being like on, then for low level, feel fine. Up, so retain most of
when you say cruise, you're still on it, but on a lower. What I would mention to be a cruise,
would be a TRT level dose.
Okay, right. Yeah. And do you think then, because obviously we were saying there's a lot of stigma and all around steroid use and performance enhancing drugs, and I think probably people think there is, like, well, he's cheating or whatever, and then also they would say it's dangerous. But then chatting with you, it seems like that, well, obviously it's like anything in it, like the more illicit it is, obviously the less regulation it has, the more dangerous it is, and the more you abuse it,
that's it,
the more dangerous it is.
Like anything that gets abused gets a bad rap. You know what I mean? And when things get abused, they do have bad effects.
And like, I'm a total nicotine addict, and I still have a bit of a weed issue, obviously.
Yeah. But it's like the one guy who trips out and fucking hallucinogenics and goes to something fucking crazy, ruins it for everyone else.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%.
I've been there, like.
But then obviously, like within the fitness world or the weightlifting world, there's a sort of different type of stigma attached to it.
I think like going back to what I said earlier on, I was joking about the Olympics and stuff like that. Like, I think if you're like athletes who are true athletes who have worked hard, because it helps you recover better as well. So your recovery rates are better. Like, it'll help you perform better. There's no doubt about it. So I think true athletes who have battled through and become top best in the world without it, like,
it's a slap in the face for them.
Right, man. They were like,
it's a little bit like the trans women going in and bashing the head off
women. Like, So
there's an element of that.
100%.
Or more an element, element of the fallout of that.
Yeah, it's an unfair advantage, because you can train harder, recover better. You're stronger, fat. Like, it's
better.
It's better.
Okay,
it's better.
It's rock.
It's fucking better.
And then because then obviously, I suppose maybe then it would be worthwhile for the movement or whatever it is, that because you do start to see now, like the guys who go around and see them on TikTok going natty or not, trying to catch lads out. A lot of lads are now going nah.
What's that fucker's name again?
Can't remember.
But
I know the lad.
Yeah, so there's onto those type of influencers, like so there's like Alex Eubank, Trend Twins, a few of these, like, I don't know, my feed has popped up with all this shit because I look up the stuff all the time. Other people's feeds.
What was the Trend Twins? I've
like,
definitely seen
funny fuckers, man. I actually kind of like them, man. They're straight out about it. They're really honest about it. They're comical to look at.
Yes, they are odd because they're very squat.
Yeah, they are squat little lads, but they're beasts. Like, but they know what they're doing. They're doing what they say they're doing. They're not hiding behind it, you know. So like, power to them. It's their choice. Wouldn't condone it for anyone to do, because there's implications that come with going to
because
things.
they're
So,
banging it out.
well, yeah, I would imagine so. Like,
Yeah.
but I suppose at the level that the fame level that they're acquiring now, they have someone telling them, they work with this like Greg Doucette now. Actually,
Yeah,
Greg
he's
Doucette,
sort of blonde hair, fair hair.
No,
guy.
he's a Canadian fella, real squeaky voice bodybuilder
Okay, no,
guy.
I don't know him
But
then.
he'd be very well versed. He would help bodybuilding athletes move through their steroids courses in the best way to for their muscle building goals and stuff.
Okay,
so
yeah.
I think he's probably looking after them now. But like, there's the TRT buzzword is what kind of would irritate you, because there's lads who are in their early 20s now. I think it's nearly like a trendy thing to say, like, yeah, I'm going to hop on TRT, whatever.
Okay, yeah.
They're not hopping on TRT. Like, their testosterone levels in their early 20s would be probably up at around 800-900 nanograms a deciliter. They're probably at the peak of their testosterone anyway. Like,
Okay.
unless they get their hormones tested and they're low.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they go on TRT to
increase that.
But if
then, like you were saying, 1,000's the top, is it?
1,000 to 1,200 is like a natural physiological range that we would sit in typically.
Okay.
Men, do you know? So
and
like,
then do some lads who are getting totally juiced out of it be exceeding that?
oh yeah, Jesus God.
Right,
yeah.
okay.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
is that in and of itself dangerous to exceed that 12,000?
Yeah. And in time, definitely for an exceeding amount of time also.
Okay,
you know?
yeah.
Like, but like the human body is super resilient.
Yes.
As well. Like, I again, don't want to condone it. It's not. It's a
No,
good thing or anything. Like, I know, but I feel like it makes it sound like a bed of roses. Like,
no, I understand that.
Yeah, but
and like, does it affect the heart at all?
It can do, yeah. Like a growth hormone and stuff can, yeah, and then and testosterone, high amounts of stuff can, like, it can increase, it make the heart grow, it can fuck it up, yeah. You can put
And what's the
around.
difference between performance enhancing drugs, steroids, and the steroids that people take? Like, my mum has to take steroids every once in a while because she gets cancer treatment.
I think
and all.
steroids is probably the medical term for what that type of medication are, as opposed to actually defining what they do.
They're a different. Okay, right.
Do you know what I mean? So I think, like, we say steroids, like testosterone is testosterone. So we talk about steroids in performance enhancing way.
Yeah.
You're taking testosterone.
Okay, right.
So like testosterone is what helps the human body to grow muscle, repair faster. All these other performance enhancing things.
Right,
so,
yeah,
like, so we're talking about always kind of talking about testosterone or derivatives of testosterone. So there's a few different types.
Yeah, I get you.
Could be,
so and there'd be subsets and shit like this.
But like the general base you're taking is testosterone with every cycle you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Understood. And then, like, I suppose what I just to wrap it up actually is what's the end game for yourself? Like, like, where do you want to get to? Because you look pretty fucking rock at the moment, bro. I have to say.
Yeah. I suppose for me, I will come off and see where I come back to naturally.
Yeah.
Probably I'd imagine by the end of this year I'll be back to natural, to see where because luckily I got a baseline test done first.
Yes.
I got my bloods tested, my kidney, liver enzymes. I got my hormone full hormone panel tested.
Okay. Yeah.
So I know where I was as a baseline.
Yeah.
So I know where I'll have to come back to. And as I said, my baseline was pretty fucking low.
Okay,
so,
right.
I'll come back to that.
Which is surprising because you always seem like a man's man.
Could have run the session that weekend. Then I went in the next day, anything, like,
you're depleted.
Depleted, exactly. Like, I wasn't looking after myself, you know what I mean? I'm actually looking after myself much better now than I have ever been.
Me too. I mean, I don't think I'll ever drink again or any of that jazz. Now, obviously, I'm smoking. I've seen you have one in Elf Bar.
Oh, fucking stop, man! Can't put that thing down, lads.
But I swear to God, like, I feel better. I've only smoked one about 6 weeks, and I feel better.
Yeah.
Than when I was smoking tobacco.
Oh no, tobacco is a different story. So if I do go out and have a few cigarettes, like now after smoking, bits the next day, like, you really do feel it.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fucking
from
crazy.
Cigarettes.
The cigarettes
when you think about what you'd be up to back in the day. But I swear to God, right, I was having a mad panic. Like, I'm actually really paranoid about my health.
Yeah.
Get
the full fucking DOE done in
I've
the
done
fucking
it.
beacon.
I do well. I haven't gone for the beacon, but I've had, like, my bloods done.
Yeah.
I got a chest X-ray. I got an MRI because or whatever they call it. It is an MRI, is it? Or a scan, like a deeper one.
Are you into the fucking machine? Dun, 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 on the line.
Yeah, there was.
The
I think so. I can't remember, but I got the thing. No, it was more like a hoop that went over me, I thought. So I can't remember what they call it, but it's like it's more than an X-ray because they said I had this, like, shading on my. But they thought that I had been exposed to asbestos. And I was like, no. And they were like, look, it's grand. It's just, but I'm telling you, and I might edit this out afterwards. I'll see how I feel about it. But I'm telling you, it was from snorting anything and everything that was put in front of me.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
100%.
100%. The amount of it goes into your fucking lungs.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, no, I'd say so.
And
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and so, and I might edit that out, but like, I mean, and that was when I was like, you have to stop smoking, bro, otherwise you're just gonna be like, oh, remember when you should have stopped smoking? And you didn't, and now you're dead.
Yeah, now you're dead, man. Yeah.
But anyway, listen,
I would like to touch just back on where we are talking about testosterone, TRT, and all these things, like influencers, all these other people doing it, all well and good. General soaps, if we were ever to look at thinking about it, you know, it's a health thing first.
Yeah.
You know, to check it out with your doctor if you're 30, 40 plus.
Yes.
I would condone
having
a look at it.
Be responsible though with it.
I haven't been responsible over the last year with it.
But
I've been keeping my as a guinea pig nearly in a way, but I've been getting my bloods tested every 12 weeks, checking everything out. It's okay. I do plan to come off, and then probably in time, I'll probably end up going on some sort of TRT in time. But like like young 20-year-olds and 19, 18-year-olds, you see it's a trend now.
Yeah, totally. And they all want to be jacked.
Exactly, like, and the pressures that are around, like, I think it's kind of shifted slightly now towards men having this pressure a bit. Like, we're not used to, women always had it to have to look good.
Listen, man, I say it all the time. When I was 18, 16, 17, 18, no one gave a shit about any of that stuff. The odd lads, like the Prez lads, might have been like, but even at that, they were just sort of fat with good guns. You know what I mean?
Different gravy now.
They're just like, holy shit. Like, I work with a young lad who's a super lovely guy, and he, really well to do guy from Grayson, super nice guy.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I was like, are you on the juice, man? He's like, no, I've just been working out since I was 16, but he's fucking huge.
He probably is.
I think he is. Because I be
could be on SARMs. There's SARMs as well. There's selective androgen modulator, receptor modulators or some shit they're called, but they mimic, they I won't get into this, but there's ones you can buy online, like that are just like a pill form. They used to call them pro hormones.
Okay.
You can take the young lads will kind of take first, like there's these stepping
stones,
and they can have pretty good effects as well. They don't shut you down as badly. Some of them do, some of them don't.
This guy's arms are fucking jacked, bro. His back is jacked, and I'd be like, give me a flex. Come on, I want to see a flex. And he'd be like, here, give us a flex there. Go on, you. Fucking hell! Look, I appreciate that you're going around going, yeah, I'm a man.
I'm a man's man.
Listen, I really appreciate you coming on. See, I think you made some really interesting points about the whole situation, and like, and shed light on the fact that it's not just like, this is bad and you can't do it, and anyone who does it's a scumbag and XYZ. It's nothing like that at all.
No,
and
I hope I did present it somewhat in that way also.
100%, and because look, I know you as well as the other thing, and that's why I was so interested to have you on to talk about it anyway, because it's like, I know Steve, he's fucking a rock steady dude, you know? And that's something I didn't say earlier, is like when I met like you and your brother and stuff, I was quite taken with the fact that these lads are fucking sound out, good skins, like good hearts in them. And so I know that you're not coming at it from a sort of, I'm just like getting fucking... Because let me just ask you, is roid rage a real thing?
Oh, that's good actually. That's really good to real, because it's interesting. Like, so like, no, steroids or testosterone.
Yeah, because I know lads who took steroids when I was in school, actually. These couple of lads, and one of them apparently had roid rage, but I was just...
He's a dickhead. Like, I'm sorry, mate's probably not a dickhead.
No.
If you're a dickhead and you feel great, you're going to be more of a dickhead. You know what I mean?
Like it galvanizes that confidence almost. Just
and if you're like an arsehole,
I'm fucking number one. So if I'm being, that's cool.
Yeah, and it makes you just feel assertive, and like you get less social anxiety. You feel more. You do feel quite solid in yourself. Like, that's what I really enjoy about it. I think the social anxiety is much of it, because I would get that quite a bit.
Okay.
That's lessening an awful lot with it. Like,
so
there's other elements too of being balanced with the hormones that you feel good. You know? So I would say like roid rage for me, not a bit, and it's general consensus across the whole community would be that it's only certain. There's a Trenbolone is a compound that breaks the blood-brain barrier and can have neuro effects. Can fucking Chris Benoit ran roid rage shit like. Concussions and shit. It's probably so.
But psychotic
but
shit.
But like
episode stuff.
Just testosterone, like it just makes you feel. I feel calmer. I feel like a more approachable person to be around.
And which you seem to be 100%. And every time I meet you, anyway, it's always like, what's the story? There's never any sort of macho energy off you at all, and I don't mean that in an
no,
insulting way.
100%.
I mean that in a positive
yeah,
way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and like, and it's just like there's assholes. There's assholes.
That's it. There's assholes.
And this asshole just happens to take that right.
Exactly. And if he's a dick, and he feels good, he's gonna be more of a dick. Like, you know what I mean? That's it. It's like fucking cocaine. Like, you cocaine to anyone, it brings out the arsehole in them. Like,
listen,
you know what I mean?
You're talking to a man who conducted myself in the most douchebag ways on numerous occasions on the bag and on the sauce. So listen,
it's actually much worse than any of that fucking shit we're talking about now. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that.
Oh
that,
man, I had the capacity to be any type of person in that situation.
So
that's one of the main reasons I don't drink anymore, because I'm not putting myself in those situations.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid it myself.
But I actually think that I was hurting more back then, and now I feel like I'm not all 100% there, but I feel more comfortable in myself, and so maybe it would be different. But I'm not interested in it.
No,
Listen, bro, it's been a pleasure, and I really
Yeah,
appreciate you coming along, and I think that's been a great insight into that world, and you know, and yeah, that's perfect.
Appreciate it. Yeah, nice one.
See you soon. Wagwan.
Yup.
And ways consist of simple things, the days of black and white, and faces from a humble past, at one with the ground, the sound, and bring me back to